USA retains men's World 4x100m title in Tokyo. It seemed apt that athletics' biggest and brashest star, Noah Lyles, should bring the curtain down on the World Athletics Championships Tokyo 25 with second gold medal. Despite a difficult season partly impacted by injury, he anchored the U.S. quartet to the fifth quickest time in the history for the 4x100m relay. And in the process, it took his medal tally for Tokyo to 3, a bronze in the 100-meter, gold in the 200-meter, a fourth consecutive gold in that event, and another gold in the sprint relay. For an athlete who does not lack confidence, he had already posted on social media details of the athlete after party, as if knowing there would be personal cause for celebration late into the Tokyo night. In heavy rain inside the National Stadium, all but the Australian quartet managed to get the baton around despite the dire weather conditions. Christian Coleman got the U.S. off to a flying start on the opening leg, and while Canada's Jerome Blake clawed back some of the deficit to their North American rivals on leg 2, Kenny Bednarik ensured Lyles was in the lead on the home straight. For a brief moment, Andre de Grasse hinted he could threaten an upset for Canada, only for Lyles to pull clear in a world-leading time of 37.29. His split time was only bettered by the aforementioned Blake and Dutch duo Tamir Burnett and Elvis Afrifa. The pair's flying legs 2 and 4 respectively guided the Netherlands to the bronze in a national record of 37.81. Following gold for the U.S. 4 of Coleman, Bednarik, Courtney, Lindsay, and Lyles, it took the U.S. to 16 gold medals in these championships, more than the next 5 nations combined on the medal table, and 26 medals in all. In the process, it beat the record 14 golds the team had attained in Doha in 2019. By Lyles standards, it was a relatively muted start to these championships when he was upstaged in the 100m last weekend, but he has since turned Tokyo into a happier hunting ground. Looking back at the Olympics, where he won 100-meter gold but took bronze at his favored distance of 200m, he admitted he had been out of sorts and depressed. Here he has been all smiles at every twist and turn. The form hadn't looked electric coming in, and yet he still produced climax in front of a Japanese crowd, who cheered their home quartet to the rafters as they finished in 6th place, unable to match the world bronze medals of 2017 and 2019 in the same event. Lyles has already set his sights on Beijing in 2027 and has made no secret of his quest to upstage Usain Bolt, arguably athletics' all-time biggest star, to become the only man to win 5 200-meter titles. Sunday night's relay gold took his tally of world titles to 8, just 3 shy of Bolt, whose Jamaican compatriots had failed to make the relay final after calamitous heat the previous day. Following his golden finale to these championships, Lyles said, "We all know we're the fastest. We just had to get the baton from start to finish. When Christian passed the baton, I knew it was a done deal. I saw the lead we had, and it was kind of a relief as everybody did such a great job. I just had to finish the race. They made it easy for me. I could have not asked for a better relay." The Olympic Stadium in Tokyo trembled under the roar of thousands as the floodlights bathed the blue track in a golden glow. It was the night everyone had been waiting for. The men's 4x100-meter relay final, a race that doesn't just test speed, but rhythm, precision, and the unspoken trust between teammates. At stake was not just a medal, but pride, legacy, and a chance to prove that the United States still ruled sprinting's most electrifying event. When the starter's gun cracked through the Tokyo night, it wasn't just the beginning of a race. It was a continuation of a story the Americans had written for decades. From Carl Lewis and Michael Marsh in the 1990s, to the dominant 2000s, to the modern resurgence, the relay has always symbolized more than 4 men chasing a baton. It is America's sprinting soul condensed into 37 blistering seconds. The lineup of champions. The U.S. team arrived with a quartet that sent shivers across the track. Noah Lyles, the reigning 200m king, had the swagger and firepower to scorch any bend. Christian Coleman, back to full form, was pure explosiveness in the drive phase, a bullet out of blocks. Fred Curley, the versatile giant who conquered both the 100m and 400m, was the muscle and stability of the squad. And anchoring, of course, was Arion Knighton, the prodigy, the future, the man with ice in his veins despite being barely old enough to remember the 2008 Beijing Olympics. For men, one baton, and a nation's hopes balanced in their palms. The start, Coleman ignites. Christian Coleman crouched low on the blocks, eyes fixed straight ahead, body quivering with anticipation. The silence of the crowd before the gun was heavy, like the pause before thunder. Then bang! Coleman erupted forward, legs churning, arms slicing through the Tokyo night. By the 30-meter mark, he had already opened daylight on the stagger, exploding into the first exchange. The handoff was clean, almost casual, but the crowd knew the truth. Baton passes had haunted U.S. relays in the past. One slip, one fumble, one fraction of hesitation, and gold could vanish. Not tonight. Coleman and Lyles executed with surgical sharpness. Lyles on the bend. If Coleman was a spark, Noah Lyles was a blaze. He attacked the curve like it had insulted him, eating the stagger in long, powerful strides. His arms pumped like pistons, his gold-dyed hair whipping in the wind. As he surged through the bend, the crowd's noise swelled into a storm. Lyles wasn't just running. He was performing, carrying himself with the showmanship of a man who knew history was watching. The baton slid seamlessly into Fred Curley's hand, and suddenly the Americans were in front. Curley the steamroller. Fred Curley was a machine in motion. His strides looked endless, his body a perfect combination of speed and strength. Down the backstretch he thundered, eating up meters, not just maintaining the lead but stretching it. Britain, Jamaica, Canada, they were all there chasing, but Curley looked untouchable. The third exchange loomed, the most dangerous of all. But this wasn't the panicked, sloppy American relay of old. This was a symphony. Curley reached, Knighton received, and the future of U.S. sprinting took off down the final straight. Knighton the finisher. The anchor leg of a 4x100m is less about running and more about surviving the storm. Pressure can crush even the fastest men alive. But Arion Knighton didn't just survive, he thrived. Smooth, effortless, and fearless, the teenager stretched his long strides, powering to the Tokyo air with maturity that belied his age. Canada's Andre de Grasse was closing. Jamaica's Oblique Seville was desperate. The stadium roared as if trying to will him forward. But Knighton's face was calm, almost serene, as if he knew the baton carried not just speed, but destiny. When he crossed the line, chest out, arms raised, the clock froze. 37.29 seconds. World champions. Again, the explosion. The moment was electric. Coleman fell to his knees, fists pounding the track. Lyles leapt into Curley's arms, shouting to crowd. Knighton, the boy who had just sealed America's crown, simply smiled a wide, knowing grin that said this was only the beginning.